I like to think of layers in a story. So for example, when we do the shows, the fashion show, I think it's super interesting. Actually, before the show starts, when people are being seated, I can put whatever music on. It can be scary, it can be dark, it can be very light. But it's really important, interesting and important to play around with those senses. My name is Henrik Vibskov. I'm from Denmark. I'm educated at Central St. Martin's. Since that, I've been running a clothing brand. I do costumes for different theaters, for ballets, do a little bit of exhibitions. At the age of 10, I got a drum kit from my brother and sister and started being involved in different bands, music circles, and we were dressed very black, pointy black shoes and played very noisy, dark music. And I moved from home, and I suddenly realized that that whole music scene, there was like a social circle that was also involved in it, and different codes of what to read, what books to see, and also in the end how to appear, how to dress and stuff. And I thought that was really interesting. I actually applied to Danish design school when I was 25 or 26 or something, and I thought, okay, I should go all in. There's 1,000 people applying. So I thought, like, okay, and I did all the classical drawings and all that stuff you have to live. And so it's like, but I need to somehow put an impact on it. And then it became out of cucumbers in vinegar. Then I sealed the whole portfolio. So it was like this A1 shaped portfolio with a cucumber floating in vinegar. Then I had some letters floating around and a little bit spaced out. And I thought it was a great portfolio. But they called and said I had to come as fast as possible because the portfolio exploded with all the vinegar sauce, the juicy part, on top of, because they just stack all the portfolio and they get thousands, and suddenly there's a big pressure. There was a big pressure on my cucumber juicy sauce. So it exploded in the design school's office. I think my work, if I should describe it, it's pretty, I would say, colorful, hopefully sometimes also a bit surreal. I like when it's kind of technical advanced. I like when it's multiplated, a lot of the same object many times, fantasy, conceptual, twisted worlds. I kind of ended a bit working with textiles, maybe by coincidence. So I think I learned the craftsmanship there and been working for many years with it, but I'm also constantly trying to seek other understandings of other materials. And I like to try out things and also challenge my brain a bit. Because I think to keep passion and lust, I think it's super important that your brain is activated, or else it just becomes this highway of like, okay, we just do the same. Yeah, I like to do stuff where maybe the textile is involved, but maybe it's a strange triple spinned umbrella, and maybe that could lead to work also in a silhouette for something in the fashion field, and sometimes it gives like this kind of, maybe it works better here than it would work on a dress. Maybe it works best as an object, or maybe it works best as a performative costume, something. For me, it's really important to have maybe 10 or 20 projects running, and they have completely different outputs, and working with different ways of explaining or showing my vision or my way of working. I think in general I try to have as much textile involved in whatever project we do. Of course, in the clothing and the fashion design there's a lot of textile, but also building stuff like this. I think it's there you can use the flexibility of a textile and what that can do. But it is a very fragile material, and I think sometimes people kind of forget that it's thin fibers, and people think they are buying like a stone material or something, like, hey, it broke, yeah, but it also super fine fibers that maybe it's not made for going on a bicycle run, you know, or this material isn't, but this would be better. But it is a very fragile. Can easily break. Well, I've always been liking colors a lot, and strong colors has been important for me. But I like a lot of colors, but I also like to build it into a frame that is maybe. I also like chaos a lot. But I like to frame it in a very conservative way. I don't know, I like when it's a little bit, things are a little bit out of order and things are not so readable and easy to understand, that maybe it can give imagination and people have to start think a bit about what they see. So I like when there's different layers of a concept. So it's not only like, here's a product, buy it, but like a story to it, or different stories, or maybe people misunderstood it and thought of something completely else. Silhouettes and forms are really important in the way of working with textiles, but of course there is also a thing to remember is functionality. If there's only one leg, it becomes tricky. 2 legs is better. 3 legs is a possibility, but maybe you don't need it. Yeah, you can play for sure with the different body types, and it's a bit tricky, and everything is a bit up in the air at the moment, because should you call it menswear? Should you call it womenswear? Should it just be unisex? But our bodies is physically different. So there is some challenge in the way of creating, you could say, a piece of textiles around the body. For me, it doesn't matter if, like, who wears it and who wears that silhouette. I've always been pretty open-minded. So, and also been trying different things out. Built some strange shoes that guys had to wear, but they couldn't wear it because the balance was like completely off. But it was interesting to put some very, you could say, masculine figures on those shoes to challenge them also, and for experience for them as well. But I think in general it hasn't really changed so much. You could say our focus of what to wear of silhouettes. But there's still slowly every half year there's maybe a little a small little change, and maybe with decades you see things would change a lot.